So we've seen how incredibly powerful and unpredictable volcanoes can be. You must be wondering, why do people live in their shadows? The truth is that volcanic soils can be the most fertile in the world. On Etna, down there on the plain, people enjoy rich harvests of olives, oranges and grapes. People always have, and probably always will, make their homes in the shadow of volcanoes, which means that predicting when one is going to erupt has long been the holy grail of geologists like myself. In 1991, in Pinatubo, we had a breakthrough. Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines had been dormant for so long, people had almost forgotten it was a volcano. 30,000 had made their homes in small villages on its fertile slopes. It was a huge US Air Force base just 15 miles from the summit. Then, in April 1991, for the first time in over 500 years, the volcano rumbled into action with a series of small explosions. An international team of geologists took these warning signs seriously and sprang into action. They took measurements of the seismic activity beneath the volcano. At the same time, they detected a 10-fold increase in the emission of sulfur dioxide on the summit. All the signs pointed towards an imminent eruption. By studying the surrounding rocks, the team worked out that Pinatubo's past eruptions had been huge. This was alarming news. Now tens of thousands of people lay directly in the volcano's firing line. By June, Pinatubo's ash eruptions were almost continuous, and a mass evacuation was ordered. Everyone within 20 miles of the summit, nearly 60,000 people, were moved. It was just in time. Hours after the last people left, Pinatubo blew in one of the biggest eruptions of the 20th century.
A column of molten rock, boiling mud and volcanic ash shoots thousands of feet in the air as Mount Pinatubo continues to erupt after 600 years lying dormant.
Ash is falling as far as 400 miles from the volcano, and repeated earthquakes add to the chaos. People try to escape in any way they can. 100,000 refugees arrived today in the capital, Manila.
Pyroclastic flows devastated an area of 40 square miles and filled up canyons, creating a flat, featureless plain. But they killed no one. Conditions worsened when torrential rain turned the vast quantities of volcanic ash into thick mudflows or lahars. These mudflows can be lethal, as a much smaller eruption in Colombia 6 years earlier had revealed.
BBC News at 6 o'clock. Thousands of people, one estimate says 20,000, are thought to have been killed in South America after the eruption of a volcano in Colombia. The town of Armero is reported to be buried under 6 feet of mud and water, and many of its 23,000 inhabitants are missing.
Here at Mount Pinatubo, the mudflows had destroyed every bridge within the evacuation zone, and several towns were partly buried. But whilst property was devastated, this time the people were out of harm's way. Pinatubo did take its toll. 320 people were killed by collapsing roofs and from sickness in refugee camps. The evacuation and loss of land and property was devastating. But these people did survive. There's no doubt that without the successful prediction and evacuation, tens of thousands would have been killed. For the first time, volcanologists had actually saved people's lives on a massive scale.